That was so obnoxious. I thought I would have a sit-down chat as I use this face mask and get BuzzFeed notifications about our fucking president, and drink some Tazo tea, because it's winter, and you know what that means. Depression. No, in all seriousness, I think that whether or not you're clinically diagnosed, I think that everybody's mood definitely takes a fucking dip when it is dark out by like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh my god, it's so depressing. And I feel like everybody does this. To anybody that's actually like able to commit to doing something every single day, or like puts their mind to something and like can actually go through with it, I fucking commend you. Like, that's awesome. But me and the rest of us can't ever fucking do that. So right now I'm in one of those like bursty moods where I'm like, I should probably get shit done, and I should take a shower. Maybe I should do a face mask. I'm gonna work out. Because this past week has been absolute shit for reasons I don't want to get into on social media, really. For once. But, I mean, I feel for everybody at this time of year. Because, I mean, I know that it's holiday season and a lot of people are really excited about that. Holiday season was never really something that excited me since the time I was like 13 or 14. Because that's when I had to start like buying presents myself. And not to say that it's like, I don't mind, like, I love to give my friends presents. I love to give my friends cards and my family, like telling them that I love them and everything. It's just, it's really stressful with family and with money. Because if I had all the money in the world, like, oh my god, I'd spoil the shit out of my people. But sadly, that is not my situation, and a lot of people's situations. So holiday season is very stressful, on top of winter, on top of seasonal depression, on top of bipolar, oh my god, it's just like, oh my, and when you add your period into the mix, like, shit, that sucks major ballsack. And it's just not a fun time. This shit is already like dried on to my face, so excuse me for my ashy ass. So I think I just wanted to like go over some things that really helped me during this time, especially when I am in like that little burst of positivity, or when I am in that burst of productivity mood. I know for me it's always really difficult to get my ass out of bed because I love sleeping. I get really, really tired after school. And I just take a nap. Especially, like, I'll have a snack after school, like a really unhealthy thing to eat, and then I'll just sleep afterwards, and that's just not healthy to do in general, and I find myself doing it more often than not in the colder months than in the warmer ones. And I think my little first piece of advice would be to cut the naps. Because from the time that you get home, I feel like it is such like a deciding factor of like, you could either just get your shit done or you're gonna end up like blowing everything off. Majority of the time I end up blowing everything off. But for the days that I am able to be like, no, do your fucking work, and like I'm sitting down and I'm able to get everything done, like I feel instantly 10 times better, and I worked for something. I was productive, I got shit done, and I won't have to worry about it the next day. And that always makes me feel a lot better. And then when I wake up from these naps, I feel really gross, my body feels heavy. I'm like, where the fuck did the day go? Because I go to bed and it's still kind of light outside, and then I wake up and then it's fucking night and it's only 5 o'clock. And it's just something that I really hate that I do, because I could be using that time to do so many other things. And that leads me to the next thing that I like to do, or at least I try to like get myself to start doing, is, you know, I'm inside all day with school, and then I'm usually inside when it comes to work. So I don't really have a lot of time outside, and I also don't really have a lot of time to exercise. And that's honestly, that's a lie. I do have time to exercise and I do have time to go outside, but majority of the time I decide to take a fucking nap instead. So that's something that I'm gonna try to work on more, is going outside for a run, because you know that a girl needs to get her fucking cardio in. And it's not even like all has to do with body image. It's more just like I'm so fucking tired and I feel so gross all the time, and it's like I have one body, I should be taking care of it, not treating it like shit. And it makes me feel really guilty, because it's like, you know, your body's always trying to keep you alive and do what's best for you, but it's really it's your brain that is like, no, fuck you, like this is what you're gonna eat, this is what you're gonna do. And I just kind of want to battle her a little bit, at least on that, and just get outside more, because you know me, lacking that vitamin D. And it's important to, you know, just get outside, just find some type of exercise to do, because, you know, winter, usually we'll just, whenever we're bored, we'll eat, and self-image it really does play a huge part in your mental health, though, at least I feel like, because for me, like, I always had, you know, like, struggled with, like, eating right, I guess. I never really struggled with my self-image to, like, the degree that I see a lot of my friends going through. But I definitely know what it's like to feel insecure and feel pudgy and not up to my best self. And I think that that's the part that gets me, is it's not necessarily like comparing myself to other people. It's more or less comparing myself to myself. And sometimes I feel like that's even worse, because you're just torturing yourself with what you used to look like. And it's so annoying. And I find myself doing that a lot, especially during winter, because I'm not active, I'm not going outside, I'm eating a bunch of crap, and obviously that takes a toll on your body. And then for me, that takes a toll on my self-image, which takes a toll on my mental health, and it's all like a domino effect. So I feel like if I get outside more, if I cut the naps, if I'm able to, you know, just do something that'll physically make me feel better, then that'll translate to emotionally and my mental well-being. Another thing is kind of, oh my god, I just had it on the tip of my tongue and then I lost it. Oh, it's figuring out when you're bored versus when you're hungry. Because once again, like, I'm inside all the time and I'm always snacking, but it's not because I'm hungry, it's because I'm bored. And then once again, that translates into that little cause and effect, that little, you know, I'm bored, I'm gonna eat, and then, like, I'll take a nap, and it's just, like, it piles up for me, and that's not really something that I like to do, and I want to try to cut the fucking shit, especially when it comes to that. So, whenever I'm bored, and I'm not just, like, when I'm hungry, obviously I'm gonna eat, but if I'm just hanging around and I need something to do, and, like, I want something in my stomach, like, I'm starting to go to, like, teas and liquids, just so that it doesn't make me feel as gross and as heavy, and, like, I'm actually hungry when it's the appropriate time to eat, and when my body is telling me that I'm hungry, not when, like, my head is telling me that I'm hungry. Hold on. Wow, I feel like Graveyard Girl whenever she, like, sippy sippy. You know what I mean? So yeah, those are some things that, like, physically make me feel better, because once again, I feel like your physical well-being can translate into your mental and emotional. But there are two other things that, like, well, really three, but you already know one of them, is, like, dressing my best really, really helps me. Like, if I can put on an outfit and I can feel like, if I look put together, I feel put together. And that'll go into the winter months regardless. That is a year-round thing, but especially now. And you can have so much fun with layering and, like, wearing different types of pants and sweaters and shit like that. Like, now is the time for fashion. Like, you can do so much shit with your wardrobe. Take advantage of that. The other thing is light more candles. Light more candles. Find your scent that just makes you happy, that makes you want to do shit. Buy a stress relief candle. Inhale that shit on a 24/7 hour basis. Like, oh, I didn't realize, like, this was the first time that I lit a candle, and I'm probably gonna light some incense later on, in my room, and, like, it just makes me feel, like, ooh, fresh. Like, I have a lilac candle going right now, and I'm like, ooh, it feels like spring in here. How nice. It's honestly just a tease, but it helps for the time being. But also, like, picking up a hobby that you've always wanted to do. Like, I was never in IB art, so I never got to carry around one of those, like, torturous fucking notebooks that everybody absolutely hates. I love looking at the IB art notebooks, probably because I don't do it, and it's just fascinating how everybody, like, does something in their own way. Um, but I didn't like the idea of, like, being told that I have to do this and, like, going by deadlines and shit like that, so that's why I never took it. But recently, I was like, you know what? Maybe if I get hooked onto a hobby, it'll keep me away from the naps, and then everything else will fall into place. So my dad picked me up this notebook today, and for those of you that don't know, I fucking love art journaling. Um, I, like, rarely give myself the time to do it anymore, just because some days I just don't want to write and I don't want to have to relive shit, or I'm just not feeling creative. But at least with this, it's gonna be my fashion journal. And within this, I already wrote down, like, a couple things that I want to talk about, because there's so many things that you can research and learn when it comes to fashion, at least. And if you're gonna tell, like, this is just my niche, I don't fucking know. But, like, find your own and dive into it, because you have to be passionate about it in order for you to continue being able to do it. And that's what I'm trying to teach myself. But at least with fashion, it is something that I'm genuinely interested in and I want to pursue when I'm older. So this makes more sense for me. But I wrote down, like, I want to research, like, decades and, like, the fashion influences in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, international fashion. Like, what's going on in France? What about Japan, South Korea? Like, our town. That's one thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to, like, go around and, like, take pictures of my friends and, like, ask them, like, what are you wearing today? What inspired you to wear this? Like, how are you feeling when you wear this? And, like, shit like that, you know? I feel like that would be cool. And then, like, put all the pictures in here with, like, what they said. Another thing is, like, seasonal trends or cultural trends, like when it comes to suburbia, urban settings, like preppy, even though I really don't vibe with preppy. Like, okay, well, what's the appeal to it? Even when it comes to, like, religious wear, I just, what was it? I, like, printed out this picture of a woman. I didn't print these out. This was from Time Magazine. But I wrote down, like, little notes and shit like that. Like, my opinions and, like, what the pictures made me feel like. Just reflecting. And there's this woman, beautiful woman, wearing a hijab. Honestly, hold on. I'm gonna take that back. I really don't know if it's a hijab. And I'm gonna feel really fucking ignorant right now. If somebody can let me know exactly what this headdress is called, um, correct me if I'm wrong, please. But I ended up, like, looking up this article, and it was this blogger, Nabala Chi, and she's a style blogger, especially when it comes to, like, styling your hijabs. And she was like, wear a neon one and match it with neon lipstick and, like, make it your own. And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. And it's like, they're things that, you know, it's nonstop and it's ever growing, and at least that way I can keep myself busy. When I don't have anything else to do, at least I'll be productive in some sense. So these are the things that personally help me. Leave a comment down below. What helps you during the I can't even take myself fucking seriously. No, but seriously, like, you know, find things that keep you busy, that keep you healthy, both physically, mentally, emotionally, and, you know, don't isolate yourself. That's a really important one. Don't isolate yourself, because that's not good for you, and it's gonna, you know, take an effect on you, and it's gonna take an effect on the people around you. So that's that. Thanks for listening to me for this long. My face is fucking dry. Have a lovely week.